This that Thrice piece, Big Krit. I decided to do this illustration, this vector rendering, because Krit deserves no less. He just came out with an EP called Thrice, 3 songs deep. Definitely Krit. If you know Krit as an artist, then you know what he deals with production-wise, and you know project-wise. It's that. So when I saw the initial album cover, I was like, wow, this great photography is very rich, highly contrasted, very black in the fullness between the beard and the fro, and then the sunglasses. So I knew, I was like, yeah, I need to approach that, and do my due diligence. So fired up Illustrator, sharpened up the pen tool, and I started going in. As you can see here, started off with the contours, the hair, and what have you, and I moved on to isolating all these other areas of definitive blackness. Now, if your end goal isn't line art, you should be sparing with the black lines you end up with at the end of it, or it's gonna feel very comic-y, if I can coin that term. Very cartoonish, because cartoons have black outlines and more painterly, flowy type art. The boundaries are built by the color of the object or the element itself. So yeah, you know, you want to keep the black in places where it's really black hair and different things of that nature, but by and large, the more black lines you end up with in your illustration, each one of those lines is going to fight to be an anchor for the audience's eyes. So you know, when we're trying to trick the human mind into believing there's something three-dimensional on a two-dimensional plane, there's a lot of balancing of lights and darks, and you know, contrast creates movement between the light and dark, which, you know, tricks your mind into believing that there is actually a curve to that surface that you're looking at. So that's what you see me doing here. I've switched on from the pen tool in black to the pen tool in a grayish color, because what we're dealing with now are the first level of mid-tones in the flesh. You can see, like, bang, I just laid out, use the same base color as the flesh itself, and then I just switched to a blender mode of multiply to get a darker tone, and I lowered the opacity to maybe 40% on the first mid-tone. Second mid-tone might be like 50, so it's just that much darker than the one prior. And that's what you see me doing now. I'm going in and creating all these first areas of darkness to start to establish, you know, those tones. So you're going from a light to a dark as you get closer to the hair. The fly thing about these type of illustrations is, like, while you're doing it, the process reveals so many different things and potential for other graphics. Like, you know, if you want, you can stop like right here. You know what I mean? And it's geometric enough, and it's cool enough where it'll function as a flat graphic, but we don't do that here. You know what I'm saying? Here at Holographics Design Services, Stolen Outfitters, located in these North American laboratories, we go above and beyond in regards to how we obsess. So yeah, we try to get everything. We send code for everything. We in there, and it was never really done. Like, you know what I'm saying? We might shut it down for a day and then come back and see where we was half stepping, and, you know, go ahead and put in the other leg. And, you know, that's how you end up with multi-layered designs, by not settling You know, you obviously need if you saw what I did right there, I erased one of those initial arms I made for the glasses there because it ended up being too many black lines, and those black lines at that delicate juncture right there on the side of the face would have ended up fighting with the shadows from the glasses themselves and would have defeated the purpose. So yeah, I ended up erasing those black lines, and seeing as though I have the outline for the glasses themselves, I did change it to a lighter gray later on. You will see that if your eyes are swift. But yeah, that's what I was doing. I was erasing the black lines, and now you can see me going in and laying down the highlights. And these are the actual highlights too. I mean, like you have flesh tone highlights, you know, high in the flesh that actually is the color of the flesh, and then you have the light that travels across that section, which will become like the specular, and that's what we're dealing with here. In this particular instance, I did the specular first. I didn't do the heavy main shadows first because I wanted to, and you know, poetic license. You know, you kind of you do what you want. You know, be a boss when you're doing this type of stuff, man. Because you know you play a god in a lot of ways. And here's the part that drive your system crazy if you don't actually have a good computer or something at your disposal that can deal with this type of abuse. But I'm laying in the hair, the individual strands of hair, and you know it might seem like magic, but you can see it's a lot of just like coiling patterns. You know, when you're drawing melanated hair, it's kinky or kingly depending on how you want to put it. But the bottom line is it coils like DNA strands. It coils like star systems. It coils like, you know, most things in nature that represent infinity. But it's not rocket science, guys. Just take your time and be natural, and you'll find that, you know, your hand kind of follows sacred geometry, and in the end, provided you don't overdo anything, you can kind of catch the randomness of nature, especially in regards to hair. But just take your time. Don't sit there and act like you can do it in 20 seconds, because it's not that type of affair. And I trust me, you should really wait till you have enough of the design done where, you know, you're free of obsessing over other elements. The therapeutic part of rendering drawings with melanated people is the hair, because now you're just sitting back and you're laying the follicles in and just trying to find it. I jerked y'all right there. That wasn't cool. If you notice that, bang, like there's like a nebula pattern that popped up in all of the black areas. I thought I was recording. I was not. This is my first like real whatever. Trying to talk over a drawing. I might be masking. I might be butchering it right now. I could be. I think I am. I'm going to go ahead and accept the fact that I am butchering this first tutorial, but it's going down. And as you can see, even if you mute me off for all of my aimless banter, you still can see a lot of the things that I'm doing to build this illustration or this digital rendering per se. And like I said, you can mute me off and go back and you can look at, you know, the process and see like how I built it, starting from the hair out and all the way up to this point where you see now I'm doing the design thing where we're considering color theory and we're considering layout and we're trying to, you know, make a cohesive, you know, convey a message here. It was just the illustration before, and now we're considering typography and placement and how it can function as an album cover or a sticker or whatever, you know, you're going to use it to, you know, market with. But yeah, that's what we do, and it's done, and we are out.